The sports industry brings in billions of dollars every year. With that kind of money at stake, sports franchises have had to step up their production and post-production value to retain the hearts and minds, as well as the eyeballs, of their fans. None of this is lost on the Vancouver Canucks, who recently went through a round of upgrades to make their production and post-production process that much more efficient, while keeping up with the latest and greatest technologies. Today, we get to speak with Greg Story. Hello, Greg. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, we're the Vancouver Canucks in Vancouver, British Columbia. So there's, the ebb and flow of hockey games. It's Rogers Arena in Vancouver. It's, an 18,000 or so seat NHL arena. I work in the technology group, and, I work in the same department as the IT team. I guess we're kind of like experts on certain media systems. We support the systems that those guys that are on the Avids that are telling the story of the Canucks. Also game presentation, that's game coverage, systems that are used to cover the live event, even the scoreboard system, our main center hung scoreboard, and I'm actually the cable
Greg,
guy as well.
Working in the sports industry, especially the sports broadcast and post-production portion, what challenges are you seeing in the industry?
Well, what I've seen here is that we've moved away from the workflows have changed. So content editors now want to use more file-based. It's moved away from XDCAM ProDisc, for example, to S/S cards and SD cards. They're actually shooting a lot now on DSLR cameras, smaller cameras. The other challenges have been just getting stuff posted quickly, as soon as they happen. So on the road, they need to, do quick edits and just basically post content. I think one of the other challenges is that technology sort of scoots along, and there's some areas that are challenging to get adopted, and media management is one of them. I think editors like to just edit. With a system like we have, there's a lot more media management than there ever was before.
I would imagine that with all the new avenues for video to be consumed, whether it be social media, mobile, various websites, you have a lot more outlets and thus a lot more demand for the media. How are you and your team of the Canucks handling getting all this media out in a timely fashion?
Right. Well, we've always had a web component to our control room. Back before we did our build out in 2009, we literally had a picnic table in our audio room that had a streaming encoder. We've been streaming content around the games. We're actually not allowed to stream games since I started in 2007. Now we have a room that's like I say, connected to our control room, and it's able to take sources off the router. It can grab cameras, it can grab post-game interviews, and it can stream the content we're allowed to stream out quite easily. That's one thing, and then the other new format is we have a YouTube channel. We also produce around 50 hours of content for Sportsnet, so we're FTPing finished shows each year.
Excellent. So Greg, you obviously have a very robust technology infrastructure to handle all of this. I know you've been Avid-centric for quite a while, but can you talk about why you chose Avid and why that's the Canucks' weapon of choice?
Avid's really always been ahead as far as their media management, and so I came from a house that had success with Avid. When I started here, I was kind of like, they only had two Avids. They were disconnected. They were standalone Avids. So the first step we did was we moved to having Unity and shared storage. We had two Adrenalins, and that blew their mind because they could share projects, and that really was the big change for these guys. We did also implement an early version of Interplay, and the editors did see the use of having the search features.
Well, Greg, you mentioned Interplay and the Canucks being an early adopter, and that your editors saw the benefit of sharing projects and the searchability. But what other technologies have you since added on to Interplay to expand the capabilities?
Right. Well, the Interplay deployment we had in 2007 had no archive feature, so the SAN would just fill up, and we'd have some sort of scary moments where, hey, we have no space left and we've got a game tonight. So we did add an archive component with SGL FlashNet, and that was in 2009. We didn't have a lot of success with that. Archiving just wasn't a fast thing, and it sort of fell off the it became difficult to get the editors to use it. So this time around in our upgrades that we had in 2014 with Keycode, we've added Evolution 100, Storage DNA Evolution 100. The throughput is much faster.
Earlier in the webcast, Bryson mentioned asset management and APIs, which would allow other technologies to work with Interplay. At the Canucks, what other technologies have you recently implemented to keep you going in 2015?
Right. Okay. Well, with our upgrade that we had in 2014 with Keycode, part of one of the components was Media Central, and Media Central, the concept looks great. It was part of the bundle that we selected to purchase with Avid, and we're glad we have it, and we've had some interest in it. But Telestream Vantage has been really interesting for us. That's definitely, I would say we're definitely on a learning curve with that too, where we had some initial successes with putting one workflow in and then tweaking it and finding out that how fast it was. I mean, I think that I didn't really know how slow they were before. I mean, the editors don't always tell you their experiences, and I overheard someone saying all these jobs were completed in 2 or 3 hours, where it used to take overnight for a single job. So that's been it's been a good experience with Vantage.
Greg, what words of advice would you give to other sports franchises looking to make some beneficial tech moves in 2015?
The one thing that I would like to see is there's very much a librarian aspect or job position that I believe is kind of overlooked sometimes. I'm not sure how many people actually want to be a librarian as far as a digital archivist or a media wrangler. So I think that's one thing I would recommend, is that you, with your storage solution, you're going to need to have some way of managing it. But I think there's so much more to be gained by having an asset management system. And anyway, I just think that it's important to have like an archived solution with your storage, so that you can back up high res, but you can also have a disaster recovery program.
Excellent advice, Greg. Thanks for your time today.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Michael. Glad to help.